I'm Lexxie. I'm in the US. If you're anything like me, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably a little bit like me. You have a ton of random kitchen gadgets. And you're always looking at new ones, trying to see what might be useful, but you also are running out of kitchen space because of all those gadgets. So I'm here to help you out a little bit today. Temu has been all over my Facebook page and all over the advertisements for any game or app that I use, so I'm a little ashamed to say I fell down the Temu hole. But I bought a bunch of kitchen gadgets and I'm going to test them out for you today. So let's head into the kitchen because I think this is best done in there. So I bought just a few things. Now, a couple of these things are meant as gifts, so I'm justifying that in me not going too overboard. But I can still test things that I bought for someone else, right? They want to know that they're going to work nicely. This is one of said gifts. I don't have garbage over here. This is meant to hold silverware in a narrow drawer or small space. So to test this, we need some silverware, right? I need some silverware. Handful of assorted silverware. Yeah, if we follow the suggestions, spoons go there. Knives go here. And forks go here. The reviews on this suggested that it didn't hold very much, but I've got 6 forks in there, and it seems perfectly willing to hold twice that many. So I'm going to deem this a success. I like this one. Put this out of the way. And for another, where's this one open? You really think that I'd learn to like open packages before I'm starting videos by now. Another space-saving thing that I bought is a knife holder, similar to the silverware holder in the sense that it's not too wide. So let's see what this will hold. I've got my knives over here. Sorry about that, but my knives are behind you. So this is supposed to go in like, okay, you can't put it straight down because there's a bar here to keep the steak knives from going all the way down. You have to slide it in. But I was a little worried about this one because it's got a thicker grip, but it does seem to fit. And this is a slightly larger knife. That slides in nicely, and let's try my big bread knife. This is the longest knife I have. And that fits in there very nicely too. Now the idea is that the steak knives go on top so they're stacked, so I need a few steak knives to test this properly, don't I? And I have those sitting over here. I should probably get better steak knives. But they just sit right on top like so. I'm liking this quite a bit. If you don't have room on the counter for a knife block, or if you don't have a big enough drawer for a larger device, I think this will do it for you. I'm going to give this one an approved as well. Now I got to put my knives back. Sorry, I'm just going to reach past you again. There we go. All right, what do we have next? Let's see what this is. Ah, this one This one is also a gift. It is meant to hold utensils. So it attaches to the bottom of a cabinet, and then you can hang utensils from it. And I know I'm gesticulating upside down here, but that's because of the overhead camera. This one, like I said, is a gift, so I can't attach it to my cabinet and try. But it looks like it's gonna work pretty well. It spins nicely. I can give you a better update here. And the other things that I've got here kind of require us to make something. So I decided, let's make some pizza crust. That way we can try out all this stuff. Give me just a second to get all the stuff I need. Okay, the first thing we need to do for pizza crust is to take 1 cup of warm water. You want this to be about 110 degrees. And I'm wondering if mine's a little too warm. Yeah, that's a little warm. We're going to dump half that out. We're going to add some cold to that. We're going to make a mess. And 1 cup of warm water into a bowl. Followed by 1 packet, which seems to be 21 grams of instant yeast. And just a little bit of sugar, about half a teaspoon. And then this actually needs to sit for 15 minutes. So we're gonna give that a little swirl and then set it over here. And get the cutting board. What goes great on a pizza? Garlic, right? So I bought a couple of garlic tools. This one is to get the paper off the garlic. And this one is to mince it. I've got a head of garlic here. So let's just break off 1 clove. That should do it, right? Ha! I don't know if you saw that. It just kind of flew. That one's kind of small. We'll do 2. So these just go in here. And then you're supposed to roll. And the paper comes off. How did I end up with 5 cloves? How did I end up with all these cloves? There apparently is all these little teeny tiny cloves, and what I thought was one is several little guys. One of the reasons I bought this is because I planted a lot of garlic in my garden this year, and I know peeling it is going to be a big pain in the butt if I don't have some assistance. And the paper's off of that one. The paper's mostly off of this one. But it's not doing the smaller cloves real well. Let's see if we can get another big one. I'm not sure what's up with this head of garlic. It's a little weird. Like weird in the sense that all the cloves are small. No, not yet. Okay, and it kind of broke up. But this one, I'm just going to give an okay to. I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. Because it seems to work okay on the bigger cloves, but it doesn't do much with the little guys. Will I be glad I have it when I harvest my garlic? Probably. But I'm still only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Now the mincer. The idea is you just rock this back and forth. And you know, I'm only mildly satisfied with that too. It doesn't completely press through. I think I'd rather mince it with a knife. I'm going to set this aside in a container and save it for when the pizza is ready. Another topping I thought would be great on the pizza is jalapenos. Because I bought this gadget. This is supposed to both cut and de-seed the peppers. And I bought a big one and a little one to see how it worked with both sizes. I tend to make a lot of salsa, and seeding peppers is kind of a pain. It's something I very much don't like to do. Okay, right off the bat, I don't like the cutting edge. It's on the underside that has an arch to it. I wish it was on the top so I had more of a convex, is that the word, thing to cut on, because it won't cut all the way through. You have to kind of turn it to get it to cut the rest of the way. Okay, so let's try the small one. You insert and twist. Okay, now that I like. There's still kind of a lot of seeds in there, but I could just rinse that underwater and get the rest of them out. And I know I can leave the seeds in salsa, but it's a textural thing for me. I just don't like the texture of the seeds. Works a little bit better on the big one, but it does still leave some seeds behind. Am I glad I have it? Yeah. But I think this one gets a 7 out of 10. And I'm done with this cutting board for now, so I'm going to set it aside. And what do I have left? Okay, this thingy I was very skeptical about. But it was like $1. So why not, right? We can try it for $1. If I can get it out. There we go. More packaging. I know, I've got scissors sitting right here. Why don't I just cut it open? There you go. Okay, it's supposed to be a peeler for ginger that you do like that around your thumb. And we need some ginger, huh? And I've got some right here. I don't use a lot of fresh ginger, but again, this gadget was $1, so I thought I'd try it. And I know it's easy enough to peel. This is not, maybe it's not meant for the thumb. I know it's easy enough to peel with a spoon, but I figured I'd give this a shot. It's not easy to do with your thumb in the thing. It kind of works with your finger. I mean, you can see I'm getting the skin off. Sorry if my head's in the shot. So it does work, but it feels awful awkward, and it's kind of really chewing up the ginger pretty badly. Not sure what I expected it to do as far as chewing up the ginger, but I think I'm going to stick with a spoon, and this is probably just going to get lost because it's so little. Yeah, don't bother with that one. Just stick with a spoon. We will subscribe to Alton Brown and his theory of no unitaskers. All right, I've got one more thing that isn't for the pizza. Well, it isn't for the pizza dough that we're still waiting on. It's almost done. And I have been looking at these for a while. This thing clips on your pot. Oh, I've got one more in here. Sorry, I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit because I'm running out of space. Okay, this thing clips onto your pot when you make pasta so that you can drain the water out without having to use a separate colander. And I've wanted one of these for a while but never bought it. So we are going to give this a shot. Give me a second. Okay, I've just got some cold water here without pasta because I didn't want to risk dumping hot water all over the place. And I wanted to see if this worked on a couple size pans because, oh, that's upside down. Because sometimes if I'm making just a little bit, I'll make it in this pan. And if I'm making a lot, I'll make it in a bigger pot. Okay, so we're going to, nope, I would want that to the side, wouldn't I? It just clips on, and then you pour. Seems to stay on pretty well. I don't have water everywhere. It fit on the smaller pot. Now we're going to see how it does on the bigger pot. And I've got a bowl to empty this into. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to give that an 8. I know that the point of this was not to rate them 1 through 10, but that's kind of what's happening, isn't it? But I do like that. Now I need one more supply for another gadget, so I'll be right back. Alright, so this is just a jar of lemonade concentrate. I do a fair bit of canning, and one of the problems I always have is getting the jars open. This is actually a cheese slicer, but I have seen people online use these to open jars, and that is what I'm going to try. Take the ring off. You wedge this part underneath the jar lid, and then lift. And it opens beautifully and without a headache. And I heard the sound of the air going in, so I know the jar was sealed. And this is amazing. You have no idea how much this has just changed my life. 12 out of 10. This is amazing. I'm going to put that in the fridge and mix it up and drink it tomorrow. And finally, our pizza dough. So this is all nice and foamy like it's supposed to be. So the next step for the pizza dough is to add in 3 cups, which is 360 grams of flour. 1, 2, 3. A good heavy pinch of salt. Could use some more salt in my container. And about a tablespoon of garlic powder. And about a tablespoon of tomato powder. Now if you don't have this, don't worry about it. Like I said, I make a lot of salsa, then I stick my tomato skins in the dehydrator and make this stuff. Because by now you know I don't like wasting food, so extra product. Now that brings us to our next gadget. I have been looking at one of these online for about a year, since another one of my favorite YouTubers got one. This is called a Danish dough whisk, and it's supposed to be really good at bringing dough together. So we're just going to stir. Oh, I forgot. We need to put some oil in this. About 2 tablespoons of oil. There we go. Okay, give that a stir. Seems to be coming together all right. It's a little dry. Yeah, this definitely needs a little bit more water. And that's an okay temperature now. Okay. Aside from the fact that my dough is a little dry, I'm quite happy with that whisk. It brought it together much faster and with much less mess than when I do this with my hands. This is a good purchase. If you tend to make bread or pizza dough, I'd give this a shot. And that brings us to the last thing I bought. And again, I really should have opened everything before we tried this. I've mentioned before when making things with dough that I'm not a fan of kneading on the countertop because it just gets flour everywhere and I find that hard to clean up. So I bought this really big silicone mat. Now, I have smaller silicone mats that I use for baking. You may have seen some of those before in videos, but they're small and awkward to knead on. And this is huge and beautiful and is going to do exactly what I wanted it to do. But that is all of our gadgets. So I'm going to finish this pizza dough up. To finish this dough, you're going to knead it for a while until it's nice and smooth. And then you're going to put it in this bowl, coat it with a little bit of oil on top, and put a towel on top of the bowl and let it sit for 2 hours in a warm place. At that point, it should have doubled in size. So you'll take it back out of the bowl and knock the air out of it, punch it down, and then divide it into 2 balls. Wrap it loosely and stick it in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours. You can leave it overnight if you want to. Or you can divide it into 2 balls and wrap it not so loosely and stick it in the freezer. And that is what I'm going to do with the second ball. Okay, I'm liking this a little bit less. Probably if I put some flour down, it wouldn't stick as badly, but it's trying to come up on me. I'm glad I kept talking while I did this so that we could get that bit of not perfectness on camera. Where was I? So if you freeze one, I wrap it in cling wrap and then stick it in a ziplock. And then when I want to go use it, I just pull it out the night before, let it sit in the fridge and thaw slowly. And you can make a pizza with it for dinner the next night. To bake it, go ahead and stretch it out into whatever shape you want. Top it however you want. And I like my pizzas pretty thin. I bake mine at 400 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. But if you like a thicker pizza, it might take a little bit longer. Like I said, I like my pizza really thin. But I'm going to finish this up, and I will meet you back at our regularly scheduled location for some final thoughts. Well, that was kind of fun. Most of them were pretty good. We had a couple of failures. That ginger thing was not great. I'm trying to think what my favorite might be. That jar opener. The cheese slicer that I'm using is a jar opener. That, like I said, is life-changing. Did you have any questions about anything I tried? Are there any gadgets that you would like to see me try? Did you like this and you want to see me try more gadgets? Let me know all of that down below. Let's have a conversation. I want to know what you guys want to see. But I really had a lot of fun with this, and I hope you did too. So, if you enjoyed the video, could you please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already? I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!